Hi, this is Jaclyn Quinn, and we're on week 2 of Scam Alert. This week we're talking about tax scams facing consumers and tax preparers. So, being that it's tax season, everyone's thinking about their tax returns and their tax information, and it's a good time to revisit the scams that are going on. Some of them have been going on for years, and then some new ones are popping up each year. So we'll go over all of the scams that you should be aware of. Some of the biggest scams currently are IRS impersonation telephone scams. So what happens is the fraudsters get your information, they get a list of names, phone numbers, whatever other public knowledge that's out there, they put it all together, and they'll call taxpayers and they'll say that they're the IRS, they'll ask for money. Sometimes they even claim that they're going to put you in jail or arrest your family or friends if you don't make some payments. The IRS does not call you. So that's a pretty easy way to rule out that this is a tax scam. Now, there are some collections changes coming down the pike with the IRS, so some of that might change. But for the most part, I can say with a pretty high degree of certainty that right now, if someone calls you and says that they're the IRS and they're collecting money or they're going to put you in jail, most likely it's a scam. If you ever have any doubts, or if it's a situation where you might owe the IRS and then you get this call and they say that you owe and they're going to put you in jail, then you know what? Call us, get in touch with our tax clinic, work out the issue that you have with the IRS, get in a good payment plan, and then you won't have to worry. But like I said, the call that you got was most likely from a scammer. So the IRS won't threaten to bring in the police or other law enforcement groups to have you arrested for not paying. If you're convicted of tax evasion and a criminal level of tax fraud, yes, you can go to jail. But if you owe $1,000 from your taxes that you have not yet paid, they can't come and arrest you without anything else. So that's something to keep in mind. But again, do face your tax debts owed and figure out a way to bring everything current and in good standing. The IRS won't ask you for credit card or debit card numbers over the phone. So really, when it comes to most legitimate callers that you'll get, they shouldn't be asking for that information over the phone, especially not on the first time they call you saying that you owe something. So really be careful when you're giving any information like that over the phone. Now, there are email phishing and malware schemes going on that are using the name of the IRS to go about completing the scam. So in recent years, there has been a 400% surge in phishing and malware incidents regarding taxes. What happens is they send emails saying they're from the IRS or from the tax industry looking to help you resolve your tax issue. And what they'll actually do is phish on your computer. They'll take your passwords, any sensitive information you might have on your computer. They'll ask for your social security number, payment information, tax return information, and they use this to track your keystrokes and other information and eventually use it for purposes other than legitimate purposes, and they can put you at risk of, identity theft and all kinds of things. The IRS does not initiate communication through email. Any unsolicited email claiming to be from the IRS is most likely a scam and should be reported. The IRS has a website. It's phishing, phishing, at irs.gov. We'll make sure to post that email address on this page so you can see. If you get an email, make sure you post it. In this way, the IRS can look into it. There are some scams where people are posing as taxpayer advocacy panel. The taxpayer advocacy panel, or TAP, has been saying that taxpayers are getting emails that appear to be from TAP about a tax refund. They're a phishing scam where unsolicited emails seem to come from a legitimate organization, but they're really from scammers, and they trick you into giving your personal information. So again, that any email that says it's coming from TAP and you're not familiar with why TAP would be emailing you, make sure that you report this to the phishing at irs.gov email address. So some other scams. There was something going around where people were asking for W-2 information from payroll and human resources professionals. This information was not used for legitimate purposes, and a lot of individuals were ripped off. Fictitious federal student tax scam targeting students and parents demanding payment. This, again, is targeting sensitive information and people who might have a lot of student loans, and you're trying to keep current with everything. And then you get this scam that, they tell you some bogus story about helping and reducing your liability, and it turns out they slam you with additional penalties. Automated calls requesting tax payments in the form of iTunes or other gift cards. Now, this is something that has been going on, and we're seeing more and more of it. So the scammers will call you and say that they're trying to give you information, they're trying to give you money to help you out, and they ask you to go buy iTunes gift cards, and then they ask for the information from the gift cards, and next thing you know, you just bought someone an iTunes gift card for a couple $100 and you don't get anything in return. This is not legitimate, and whatever, when you think about it, maybe this happened to you, and then you think about it later on and you say, yeah, that was pretty silly. It's something that you can get caught up in, but it's not legitimate. So if it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. Don't do it. So other scams, they might call you and say that they're from a tax prep industry and that they are here to prepare your taxes over the phone. Just give us your social security number and we'll hunt down your information and do your taxes for you. And you don't even have to come in, just pay us, a little bit of money and we'll do them. That's absolutely a scam. The scams targeting tax professionals are also very worrisome. Some tax professionals' computers are getting hacked. There are phishing schemes going around so that the tax preparers think they're using the right software, and it turns out that the software they're using has malware embedded, and it's tracking keystrokes and getting all of the information from the tax preparer's computer. There are bogus emails asking tax professionals to update their IRS e-services portal. Now, this is very highly classified, sensitive information, so that's a big warning, and it's important for preparers to protect themselves just as much as consumers. And for all our consumers out there, you should know that tax professionals are responsible for safeguarding taxpayer data. So if you do feel that your tax professional has put your information at risk, make sure to address it with them, report any fraud that may have happened, and make sure that the situation is resolved. Okay, and then the last thing is how to report tax-related schemes. So I mentioned the email address that you can send, the phishing at irs.gov. You can also submit information to Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. You can call that number at 800-366-4484. You can go on the irs.gov website and look at information about protecting yourself and IRS security awareness tax tips. They have a link to some videos and some tools for reporting tax scams. And then you do have the Attorney General's office in Delaware is always open to taking complaints from consumers. You can call DCRAC. You can reach me at 302-298-3251, and we can talk about your situation and figure out if you have been subject to a scam, and if so, we can work to resolve it. And then AARP has a fraud watch network. Now, you may have heard of AARP before. It's a national organization. They are very in tune with the things that are affecting all of us, and they have watchdog alerts, tips and resources, and their Fraud Watch network is free for everyone, and you can access it online. We'll post the link, but it is aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork. With the Fraud Watch network, you can sign up, and they'll send you information relating to all of the newest, fraud schemes, scams, and you can make sure that you're protected, and you can let your friends and family members know as well. We'll be back next week with scams, and most likely it'll be consumer card scams. So stay tuned, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks.